welcome to our latest episode of Season 2, #Thinking Together. Today's episode is called Foundation, and we'll base it upon Christ's words. Christ in Matthew chapter 7 verse 24 said, "Therefore, whoever hears these sayings of mine and does them, I will liken him to a wise man who built his house on the rock." Today, we want to know how we can build our foundation on the rock so we can resist the storms we face in our lives. We have to know what is the rock, or who is the rock. King David answered this for us. This was in Psalm 18:2, where David said, "The Lord is my rock, my fortress and my deliverer. My God is my rock, in whom I take refuge." So, we have to build our foundation on the rock. Number 1, to build your foundation on the rock, build your foundation on God's promises. The Bible is full of over 7,000 promises. We will all go through storms in our lives: exams, stress, ill health, losing someone we love, relationship problems. The only way we will be able to withstand these storms is if we cling to God's promises. God will never leave us. And He said, if we trust in Him, our house will be built on the rock, and it will survive the storm. The rain descended, the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, and it did not fall, for it was founded on the rock. Do you know who done this? Do you remember Pope إبرآم Abu Zara? He was threatened, and all the copts with him, that if he didn't fulfill his promise of moving the mountain, if he had faith as a mustard seed, the copts would be in danger. But he didn't panic. He and Saint Simon the Tanner clung to Christ's promise, and they were able to do the impossible. So number 1, to withstand the storms we face in our life, base your life on God's promises, and that way you'll never be shaken. Number 2, don't be a chameleon. What do I mean? Chameleons always blend in with their environment. This is dangerous because that means if we are in a bad environment, we will be bad people. And also, if we always blend in with people around us, we will never be unique, and only those who are unique shine and excel. The Bible gave us examples of people who blended in with their background, and they really suffered. This was Lot's 2 daughters. In Sodom and Gomorrah, they learned the bad habits and they committed one of the worst sins mentioned in the Bible. But we also have the example of Daniel and his 3 friends. They done the opposite. They were under a lot of pressure to be like everyone around them, but they resisted. They didn't eat of the king's delicacies and drink of his wine. And what was the reward? They were ministers, and they were better and stronger in appearance than everyone around them. So number 2, base your foundation on Christian values. Base your foundation on God's commandments. Don't base them on society's values and the world around you. And finally, number 3, delete can't from your dictionary. You have to have a strong foundation by having self-confidence. If you believe you can do something, you will do it. If you're shaken, you will never be able to achieve your dreams. St. Paul in Philippians said, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." So base your foundation on your self-confidence, and that way you'll be able to achieve everything through Christ's grace. So let's quickly summarize. Christ in Matthew told us that we need to have rocky foundation so that we can resist the storms in our life. Number 1, have a solid foundation on God's promises. Number 2, have a strong foundation on Christian values and God's commandments. And finally, have a solid foundation on your self-confidence, and that way you'll be able to achieve things and resist the many storms we face daily. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode, and please stay tuned for more episodes of #Thinking Together.